Alrighty, guys. It is just about 3:30. Time to wrap it up for today. And so far, we have a stubborn range at the highs. Look at that. Back and forth it goes. Support's holding at 6,020. Resistance at 6,027, 28. And that's it. I mean, I've been waiting for them to either knock it up or take it down. 2 o'clock hour came, nothing happened. Just a flat out range bound. I guess it's a holding pattern. If you're holding on to the gain, so. I would start off from the long side of the market and I would key in on that volume weighted mean for the overnights. If they close above that volume weighted mean, I'm going to stay on the long side of this, look to buy weakness. If they close below it, I'm going to be range bound and below the London at the 59.90s. If they close below there, I'm going to be on the short side of this. And you never know. I mean, it could be very well that we get one of these like a run down here right before the close, or maybe even a melt up. It's just impossible to say. So at this point, looks like the market is trying to take it higher, and they're holding on at least for now at the levels. But watch the support there. If 1820 comes out, I think they can run it down to the mean. If the mean comes out, we are back range bound again. Okay. So that's how we get started in the overnight on the ES. No trades on the ES for me today. I just took that one NASDAQ trade, and since it kind of tweaked me a little bit, I just kind of left it instead of trying to re-engage it and try to get myself in trouble. But I had that earlier on trade I talked to you about. That was a beautiful, that after this run up here this morning, I took that short and had a great trade going here. I was looking for rotation back to the midpoint, but then that squeeze up here knocked me out with a $17 win, and then they just knocked it down and then stayed down. It never got down to the midpoint though, but they it could have been a lot bigger trade, but yeah, frustrating. So after that, I figured I didn't do anything. But I've been holding on to the gains, and I would say same thing on the Nasdaq. If they can close above the 28, 21, 800, 810 to 800, then I think we are in good shape to stay on the long side of the market. If they close below it, I would be back range bound, and if they close below that level, the 720s, I'm going to be on the short side of this. It just depends on how crazy it gets into in the last 10 minutes. Chances are they're going to hold on to this, yes, probably stay in the range into the close, but you never know. Those last 10 minutes, you can get a little buy up move or the bargain hunt thing going on, or you can get like a flat out profit taken that ran it all the way down to the low. It can happen pretty quick. So anyway, staying on the long side, below the 800s, going back range bound, and below the 720s, staying on the short side. On bonds, we actually back up again from the lows, but not quite up to the level where I get comfortable. I need to be above that 1216 level. I can get up above that 1220, 1216 to 1220. These two resistance areas, I will be back more in a spot where it's going to be better. But at this point, I still would look for short setups against that 12, 15, 16 and that 112, 22, 23 rotations back down. And then we'll see where they're going to go from there. But starting off range bound at this point, it may be a bias to the upside to see if they can retest these highs in the overnight, but not a very strong bias. I'm still looking for short setups against these two resistance areas. And then finally, well, that's NASDAQ. We talked about the NASDAQ. Finally, oil and gold. So gold is yes, holding above that 33.48 to 50. So I'm going to stay on the long side as long as they can do that. If they close below it, I will be back range bound. But if they can close above that 47, 48 level, I'm going to stay on the long side and see if they can retest that 58, maybe even higher. So we'll see how the overnight's going to go. It depends on where they close. If they close below that 46, 48 support area, I'm going to be range bound. If they close above it, they're going to stay on the long side. All right, so that's the gold. No trades on gold today. And oil, hey, a little move to the upside into the close. Look at that. So they're up here against the 65.40s. Looks to me like we're going to see them run it all the way up here to that attractor at the 66, 67 area up here. So I would stay on the long side right now and see how far they can take it. So it looks to me like they're grinding higher step at a time, but we'll see. Starting off, I would say below the 64.80s. Well, maybe, yeah, 64.80s go back range bound, and below that 64.20s get back on the short side. That's kind of the dynamic, but still staying on the long side on oil to get started, same as gold. ES and NASDAQ also starting on the long side of the market. Let's see where they end up closing. Because that's if they take out those support areas I mentioned, then we'll be back range bound, maybe even on the short side. Just depends on the last 10 minutes here. So that there you have it. There's a run up. So one trade on the Nasdaq's up 17 on that trade. And I could have gotten 70, but I let it run against me, and then yes, the freaking guys just squeezed me out of that trade. So it's kind of tweaked me a little bit, and I kind of just put myself on the sidelines instead of trying to re-engage at that point. That's just me, my psychology. But anyway, we'll leave it there, guys. So we'll wrap it here for today, and I'll see you back in the morning. You guys have a good evening. Later.